So we're going to go to the Coastal Cabana now so we can color her dress. I did want to point out, when you get the box, there is a little tab that is inside, and it keeps the box closed so well that I can't open it to get the markers out. So what I do is I take a little tool the first time and I flip out that tab, and then I just keep that tab out so that I can easily get in and out of the package. So let's go back to our Coastal Cabana here. We're going to again start with a darker. I do tend to like to start with a darker color. I'm going to pull the cap on that one, and I'm going to start with the side of her dress. So my light source is coming from this side, I decided. It can come from any side. So this side of her dress is going to be a little bit darker than that side. So I've got some of the darker colored on there. I'm now going to go to the medium color, and I'm going to stop and go to the lightest color. The lightest color is the one I'll be applying the most to blend out that harsh line and these lines over here where those two meet. So I'm going to go over everything. And when you're doing this properly, it should bleed through your paper. You actually want to see ink color coming through on the other side. So let's flip this over and see if I'm doing my job right. There we go. I've got a fair amount of ink soaking through, so I'm going to keep going. Again, I just keep layering over that color until I get the blending that I desire, and I don't have to worry about the paper pilling or being problematic at all. Do her little lace ruffle here, and we'll just do that all in the lightest color. And the same with the top. And you can see I'm working in circular motions. You can also work in little kind of flutter lines like that, whatever your preference is. I prefer the circular. So I have her dress colored, and now I'm going to go to her shoes, her lips, and oh, you know what, I do want to do her beverage here. Add a little bit Coastal Cabana to match. So I'm going to go to my Cherry Cobbler package. Again, the Cherry Cobbler is light, medium, and dark. Or in every package there's one color that closely matches our cardstock. It isn't necessarily always going to be the darkest or the lightest. For instance, in Cherry Cobbler, I would say the one that closely matches our cardstock is the darker color. The lighter color in the Cherry Cobbler is actually a very good red. So I'm actually not going to do any blending on this one. I'm going to go just straight with the red. It's a very small color or amount of surface area that I'm coloring. So I'm going to pull the cap on this. I definitely want the fine tip for this one. And I'm going to just add a little bit of the lightest color to her lips and her flower, and we're going to give her some red shoes. So I've got the red added there with the lightest color of Cherry Cobbler, and zoom in a little bit on that. I'm going to go in and do just a little bit of shading, which you can see I've done here where she's standing. So I'm going to go back to the lightest color, Coastal Cabana. I'm going to pull off my tip, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color down here, kind of making a surface or a floor area. So to me that's a little harsh. That's not, I want that a little bit lighter. So I'm going to use a separate product that is called a color lifter. Perhaps a better or more accurate name for this would be a color pusher, because what it does is it actually pushes the color around more so than removing it. So if you've gone outside the lines, you can lighten that color by pushing it around. you can't really remove it completely. So I'm going to use this color pusher the same way. I'm blending these light colors together to give it a shaded appearance. You will pick up a little color on the tip of the color lifter. You can just clean that off on a scrap paper when you're done. It is important to have a scrap paper under your work surface when you're coloring with the Blendabilities. Like we talked about, they do soak through the paper, and you certainly wouldn't want to get it on an important piece of furniture in your home because they are permanent, they are light fast, and so once there, it will stay there. So I've got a little blending done there. The other thing that is great about the Blendabilities is that you can, I'm just going to take the dark cherry cobbler here and add a little dot to the center of her flower. You can also color our rhinestones. Because the Blendabilities are permanent markers, you can do a permanent color on our regular basic rhinestones, and since it's an alcohol-based marker, it's not going to rub off once it's on there. So I use the darkest color of cherry cobbler. I do find that when you're coloring the rhinestones, you want to use a darker color than you would think for the end result, because the rhinestones are opaque, so it will end up looking lighter than it is. So I just colored that rhinestone with the darkest cherry cobbler and just added it to her hair for a little embellishment. The rest of my card, I used some products that are actually currently available. I used the gorgeous Grunge for the little speckle background there. This is Coastal Cabana cardstock, and this is Bermuda Bay, that's my layer. And then inside the card, I used the stamp set Remembering Your Birthday, which is available in the Current Occasions catalog, and that's stamped in Bermuda Bay ink. Thank you so much for stopping by today. It was really fun to tell you about this new product that is coming out on June 2nd. I'm really excited, and I think you'll really enjoy using them. Watch for more training videos here or on my blog at SueStampfield.com.